So, is this what we do now?
This is what we do
Derrick
now.
Jackson. No, matter of fact, let me start with the dear future wifey guy. He had Danae Jackson on the scene.
Yes.
Now he goes behind her and decides to invite Derrick Jackson.
Right.
And to me, it sounds like Derrick Jackson is trying to blame her rape for the reason why he's been cheating throughout the marriage. But let's get into it, you guys.
Have aggressive energy towards a woman, except in intimacy. And so how I would express my affection oftentimes was aggressive. Like, I want to pick her up. Yeah. I don't just kiss her. I pin her up against the wall, put my hand around. I'm not trying to get graphic. Yeah. There's context here. So, I, come up behind her and hug on her, kind of aggressive. But that would make her really, really shut down. I ain't never been so sensitive to rejection because we all get rejected, but this the first time I felt that. And what felt safer was to go out and at least have friendships with other girls. Just the conversation felt like receptiveness, like acceptance again. Mm-hmm. But those loose boundaries turned into no boundaries. So, if we continued to clash and she continued to pull away or what have you, and I'm not getting no answers or whatever, especially in my prideful state, I'm thinking, man, she got me effed up. So I'm over here doing the right thing and she over here acting like I ain't nothing. So now there's a party tonight, or there's a girl on campus, and then she got her own dorm room. And that's whenever I started messing around.
Which is interesting. Now I realize something. You were trying to be on the straight and narrow in that aggressive personality that you had, because she told me, she told us on the podcast, that she had experienced a rape 2 weeks before y'all met.
Everything that happened that was really painful was really one long repetitive pattern. Right. Me feeling rejected for this, that, and the other, and she handles, becoming okay again a certain way. But I didn't know certain forms of affection that were natural to me just felt scary to her, put her back in a certain space where, certain things had happened. So, yeah.
And that's so interesting. It's like, I'm getting understanding. It's like you have this woman who has experienced this huge violation of her body, her soul, her spirit, this brokenness. She meets this guy who she says she just loved the mess. She loved your dirty draws. You're wanting to show your affection. You grabbing her by her neck. You being aggressive physically, from a sexual standpoint. She's getting nervous. She's getting triggered on all levels. Don't even realize that she's being triggered like this. She's closing up rejection to you because you've experienced that growing up. Mom no longer is kissing you and tucking you in the bed at night. Rejection. So now you're like, well, now I'm going to go self-medicate. I have this history of looking at porn, and now the way I self-medicate is watching this. So now I'm going to do the outward extension of that.
Yeah.
Now I'm over here hanging out with girls. One thing leads to another. Now you over here smashing. Now it's triggering her. How did she ever find out when you first cheated?
It's a Mary.
And Alma.
And we invite you guys to
subscribe,
and comment down below, y'all, because it was just a lot. To me, it seemed like, obviously, Danae revealed that she had been raped.
Right.
Derrick Jackson
prior.
Before she met Derrick.
Before she met him, yeah.
And after this man has caused her all this while. This is why you don't get into stuff when you ain't healed, okay? Yeah. But he goes on to say, so I'm just going to show you guys a clip, because we haven't watched the whole thing, but we watched this clip in its entirety. Yeah. But he basically said, with him, he is an aggressive lover. He likes to choke people and put people up against walls and all this stuff. Yes, I'm sure.
Jump up behind them.
And then grab them, whatever.
Scare them.
So he said, for me, it's like, that's just how I am in the bedroom or whatever, right? So it's like I was triggering her, and it's like she didn't even know she was being triggered or whatever. But the thing is, I also started feeling rejected. So now it's like, oh, how you going to treat me like nothing when I'm giving you everything? So, of course, no accountability. They all sit down there with the other fool who had a divorce and also can't take no accountability.
Well then the
so now the two bandits have decided to sit down together and they're no accountability selves and decide, let's go and blame a woman who's been raped or why her husband couldn't keep his penis in his pants for 20 plus years. No, weren't they even married for 20 years? How long were they married?
I think it was like 12 years.
12 years. Yeah, so that's what we two bandits have decided to do. We gonna sit down there in our two tight ass shirts and come talk about Danae. My goodness, Danae, I just want to say this quickly. I gotta say this quickly though. Danae, personally, I would not have gone to a bandit to go and share my story. You know what I would have done? Because it seems like you trying to do business adventures. I would have gone and opened up my own damn podcast and interviewed myself, like what Beyonce did with her self-titled album. I would have interviewed myself, and I would have exposed my own truth. And I would have done it on my own podcast. That's where you guys are coming back to me. Instead, I'm going with some shiesty man who was one trying to hit on me, and then two was talking about how him and his ex-wife are cool. Did the ex-wife say that? Because I don't want to hear nothing you gotta say. So now he has invited the bandit, not even a month after Danae was there, to come and talk about how you in the wrong. And I can see now, because you aggressive. Yeah, I know exactly what that means. I know you not picking nobody up. I'm sure you're not even picking up a 20-pound dog. So you can't even relate to that. So for me, I just felt like the whole thing was very shiesty. And how dare you go and blame somebody who's been violated on why you couldn't keep your penis in your pants?
I know.
The
thing is, I want to go back to a couple of things with this whole thing.
I'm done ranting, man. I'm done.
But, I mean, you made all these valid points.
My bun done come untucked.
But you know, like what I'm trying to say is that, man, this true future wifey, I keep on thinking about it on the backdrop, and I don't know if we kind of had a feeling like he liked the Dea. He didn't actually. What was it? He didn't actually holler at her.
He didn't holler like that, but he was dipping his toe in the water. He seemed as though he was trying to
dip his toe. That's what it seemed to me. That's what it seemed to us. Okay, we'll have no proof that he whatever, but that's what it seemed to our eyeballs.
The proof was in the video.
But it didn't seem as though once he revealed about him cheating, his cheating ways,
she literally, it's like she crossed her leg this way. She moved away from him, and she was looking at him like, gave him bombastic side eye. Okay,
oh Lord.
That's what happened.
But true future wifey, you know, I still remember the backdrop of when she was telling him that his true future wifey podcast, Derrick
he
was
coined the term "dear future wifey,"
and then the guy was like, "Well, I got the trademark name." You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he liked that.
He didn't like that after that. He didn't like it no more.
So now he has invited. Now he has to. And then he sat down there talking about how this is a safe space and how I'm so happy you came to me just for you to go and side with a trifling ass ex.
He reached out to her.
I know.
Yeah, he reached out to her.
But I come and I grant you the biggest interview, because I did not know nothing about this Joker until I saw the Danae Jackson thing, right?
Oh, okay.
So my thing is, she probably gave him one of the biggest interviews he's ever had on that thing, or whatever. That's my opinion. I don't know this man from a bag of apples, but that's my opinion.
Yeah,
but then you go, and it's like you go and you start siding with the ex-husband, talking about how I can see why she was triggered, or I can see why you were cheating because you felt rejected by somebody who had been raped, but you knew she had been raped.
But then,
so
it was like a weird thing that he said. He said, and I don't know, we haven't watched the whole entire
which we will tonight.
Interview, but he said something about, oh yes, and you were rejected from your mom, not tucking you in bed at night. And I just wondered to myself, also, I just wondered, did his father pass away? Was his father there, or was he just raised by maybe a single
We always
mom or
blame
whatever?
the mothers, don't we?
But I just wondered, so I'm going to be very interested in knowing did his father pass away? Was his mom not sensitive or whatever? But, the guy did say that. But I wouldn't be surprised if Derrick also is blaming his mother for his problems with rejection.
That's what meant.
Derrick, you have been sitting here in your car with your lying eyes and your lying tongue.
And your mistress' house in the background.
And your low character self trying to talk to women
about men to
how
avoid.
To level up and to have value.
And how to avoid men like you. That what blows me.
But that's not what. But then he was not saying that he was a man like that.
No, I know that.
Right.
But
now,
I'm sure he
there
was
were a
laughing.
lot of men though who used to come against him and say that they are sure. He probably, I guess, they know themselves.
They can see a sucker when they see a sucker.
Well, they were saying that, are you sure you're not one of those men who are like, you're not like the men that you say the women should avoid,
because you know a lot about them.
Right. So, but he didn't take any accountability. I also have an issue with him saying that he is aggressive with sex. Because this is the thing. If you were with this woman, right, you come up behind a woman and
pin her up against a
No,
wall.
it's
Did
not
he
like
think that somebody was getting horny listening to that? Why were you saying that?
Something. Let's not even get to the pinup or even to the choking. Let's put that to the side. I just want to focus in on just the aggression. Just if you come up behind a woman, right, and she goes like this, she tightens up.
Why do you keep going?
And you see the fear in her eyes. Thank you. Why do you continue as her husband?
Or her boyfriend
How do
or whatever.
you just sit back and say she's rejecting me? As my mother rejected me because she didn't tuck me at night. It doesn't make any sense because what it shows like a callousness. It shows like a callousness. It shows a lack of being able to read the room when someone is afraid or someone is uncomfortable and you are unable to put your feelings aside to address why this woman who you say has been your best friend and all this stuff, why she's uncomfortable. You didn't even sit with her for a second. You went straight to yourself and then you started to cheat. No. I'm not buying that at all. I'm not buying it for one bloody
How can
second.
I buy somebody who is not accountable?
You saw the fear in her face. You know what it reminds me of? When that guy, Maurice, was on Carlos King and he was talking about how his wife who is undergoing cancer treatment, that even after she comes home from that and she's tired and she's suffering and he knows that she's suffering and he sees it in her eyeballs, she will suffer through pain for him to get off. It's like, how does her suffering that you see in her eyes not stop you to say, babe, I don't need this today. How can I attend to you?
You know
it's
who
a callousness.
No, you know who enjoys stuff like that?
Well,
the serial rapists that you see on Discovery Plus in these horror shows.
The ones who talk
Those
about
are the ones who like that stuff.
You hear that. You hear them saying that.
That's how they get off.
Actually, there was one that we were watching when he said that he loves to sneak up on the rape victims, right?
Yeah.
And when he sees that fear or whatever, it helps him get even more aggressive and he gets off.
He said he can't enjoy it if the person is also enjoying it.
So, exactly. And so when Derrick, like some of these men, I don't understand. You tell on yourself. It's like
the pathology is something that I can't
It's like
even.
Andrew Tate. Like where you can't even stop for a second to say, let me think.
Let me not say that
what
shit
I'm about
out loud.
to say. But they're so comfortable in their. It's almost
depravity.
The wickedness. It's wicked, really. If you see a woman, you come up behind her and she's triggered. You look in her face. She's not enjoying it. She's scared. Yet, is that after that happened? Is that when you choked her and pinned her against the wall? Because after he said that, then he talked about, like, I was just like, is he really saying it from his mouth? Do you know, Derrick, what if she decides, like, maybe she has been feeling all this time that you have been raping her in marriage. What if she decides to take you to court? Like, seriously, you've just said it.
You just exposed yourself.
You just said it, like, this is what I have been doing. What if?
But my thing is the way he said it. But my thing is
the way he said it.
The way he said it in his shirt that was 2 sizes too damn small. Like, he said it as if somebody was going to be like, oh my God, yes, I like all, like, that's the way he said it, as if somebody would be getting off on that or whatever. Like, I like to do this, and then the degenerate who is out of shape talking about, oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean, man.
Like, you know what he's trying to do? He's trying to do like what Anthony does on Love and Marriage Detroit, where he tries to like bring himself close to Russell, because Russell is a big dude with like, he's in shape, right? So when you're not in shape, you try to like kind of see what, and
the only thing that man is doing is picking up a donut from the counter.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Derrick looks, well, anyway, moving right along. But
so he said it like such a bravado, like, I'm aggressive with it. You big as shit. I don't want you being aggressive with anything. Like, isn't this man man like
Certainly
6
not
foot
with a
something,
woman.
300 pounds or something.
I don't even know if he's 6 foot. He doesn't look that tall to me. But anyway.
5'8", whatever. Like, I mean,
But anyhow,
that was
he
not
is a
cute to
man.
me.
You're strong. You're much stronger than a woman.
why do you have to be aggressive with a woman?
And listen, if you guys, this is what you all want to do, and this is your cup of tea, and the woman is on it, and you're on it, okay. But my thing is, okay, years have passed. I am sure at some point she talked to you about the rape, right? And so how did you continue? But I know how you continued. You know how you continued? You continued because when you saw the fear in her eyes, you continued anyway. You grab her by the throat, pin her against the wall.
Your words.
So I know how you continue to cheat. That regardless what she told you about the rape, regardless what she told you, you just continue
'Cause you're
doing the
callous.
same thing. And unfortunately for her, you know, she
Loved you, flaws and all.
you know, that's not love. No one can
Well, she
tell me
wouldn't-
that you love someone if you don't love yourself enough. You
Yeah.
gotta love yourself before you can love someone else. If you don't love yourself, you can't love someone else. So I know she said she loved Derrick, but that's not love. That's something else. And that's just you not knowing really what love is. And he certainly didn't love you. And then you try to imagine what he was doing with other women and try to like it's just foolishness. And he just had you in that depravity. That's why, like we talked about in the last show we just did, don't dip your foot in hall passes or food. Don't allow any man to take you on some odd space
Yeah.
where that's not you. You know, it's better to just check out
Cut your ties, honey.
because it's only going to get worse. I mean, we saw that he did for Danae. But yeah,
Yeah.
shocked. What did you all think about what Derrick said? It blew my head. I think I got gray hair. I was just like, what's going on with these group of men?
I
You
wasn't
had Derrick
shocked that the
Jackson
Dear
saying
Future
that,
Wifey
Maurice
came out.
Scott saying stuff, like all of them self-snitching. And then you got, what was the other fool? Andrew Tate. Like,
Now you want to come out and talk about how, you never raped women when you have a whole videotape of you saying that's what you like to do. And then you want to act oblivious with the BBC person to be like, well, I never said that. Who is saying it?
yeah, you know, like,
You said it, you idiot.
Yeah, that's the Andrew Tate. But anywho, you guys get in the comments. What do you think about what Derrick Jackson said? And what do you think about the podcast? I mean, is it worth us, really watching the whole thing and coming and reviewing it?
I'm going to do it on my own good time. You hear me?
Let us know down below what you think about this. And how sorry do you feel for Danae now? And what do you think about, a man being aggressive with sex when a woman is clearly fearful of it or he sees her triggered? Do you think the excuse he gave was that a palatable excuse for you? That, because his mother didn't talk him in at night and he was rejected and he started to feel rejected and he felt like she was rejecting him, even though really he saw fear in her eyes. Anyhow, you guys get in the comments. Let us know. But this is
Mary. And we invite you guys to
subscribe.
and comment down below. Bye.